Good morning, all. Today we will look into the wireless sensor network in that single node architecture. So, in the last class, we had studied about what are the wireless sensor network, what are the challenges, what are its applications, and so on. So, today we will move on to single node architecture. Okay. Now, in this actually, in a single node, that is the basic part of the wireless sensor network. Okay, it discusses the principal tasks of a node and its computation, storage, communication, and sensing. Okay, that is the features of those. What type of storage, what type of communication tool we need to use, all those. Okay, the energy consumption of these components is also described because that is the major part. Now you people are searching for your seminar topics, so in that you might have come across, I don't know whether few of you have selected, you might have come across some of the papers like energy efficient so and so, so and so, energy efficient so and so, so and so. Because when we are talking about wireless sensor network, in that actually we have limited energy. Okay, so how to optimize the energy utilization, okay, in that limited energy. Okay, so how it can be stored or how it can be gathered from the environment, okay, and saved by intelligently controlling the mode of operation of node components. Now in detail we will be studying about mode of operation. So what is like mode of operation is, see, whenever you don't require certain components to work, okay, you put it in a sleep mode. So that is mode of operation, like one mode of operation. Whenever you want a task to be performed by that component, then you put it in the active mode. Okay, now these nodes have to meet the requirements that come from the specific requirements of a given application. So we cannot tell that, okay, this should be the uh, method. Okay, so depending on our application we can tell which mode, or okay, which how energy, or how energy should be saved, okay, consumed, etc. Okay, they might have to be a small, okay, cheap, or energy efficient. They have to be equipped with the right sensors, okay, the necessary computation and memory resources. Okay, they need to adequate communication facility. So these are the requirements. Now, coming to the main architecture of the node, one node we are talking about, single node. So, if you talk about the main modules, we have, okay, five modules: controller module, memory module, communication module, sensing module, and power supply module. Okay. Now, if you see, okay, you can make out these five modules, okay, how they are connected. Because controller is the one which controls memory, communication module, sensors, okay, and power supply. Controller is to control the process of all relevant data capable of executing arbitrary code. Okay, memory is to store the programs, okay, and also to store the intermediate data. Now again, there are so many restrictions to for the memory size. Okay, that again, it is based on the application. Usually different type of memory are used for programs and data. Then sensors and actuators, there are different variety of sensors and actuators. The actual interface to the physical world, devices that can observe or control physical parameters of the environment. Then comes communication model. Okay, this is turning nodes into a network, requires a device, okay, for sending and receiving information over a wireless channel. Then last one is the power supply. As usual, okay, no, The third power supply is available. Some form of batteries are necessary to provide energy. Okay, most of the cases we look for self generating energy modules. Okay, power modules for the remote this thing. Now coming to part by part of these modules. Okay, first one is the controller module. So the main options we have MCU. Okay, and the features of it: the processor for general purposes, uh, optimized for embedded application. Okay, because of its features as well as the compact size, then low energy consumption. Then comes DSPs. Okay, so this is optimized for signal processing. Then it is low cost, high processing speed, that is important. Okay, but not suitable for a sensor node. Okay, because of its optimized signal processing. Now actually, why we say that it is not suitable for sensor node is, see, the data which is collected at the sensor is like very feeble. Okay, very feeble. It is mixed with noise. So you need to process the data from such signal and then actually do the operation. So for which MCU is the like more suitable one compared to our DSP. Okay, next comes FPGA, field programmable gate arrays. So this is suitable for product development and testing. Okay, its cost is higher than DSP, higher energy consumption. Okay, processing speed is lower than ASIC, application specific ICs. Now coming to ASICs, this is used only when peak performance is needed for special purpose only, but it is not flexible. Okay, it is not flexible. So if you see practically, those who are doing any mini project, you would have realized, or now you are working with wireless sensor for your project. At least while reading you would have come across, for our wireless sensor, okay, microcontroller is the most used one. Okay, microcontroller examples recently used are Atmega 128L. Okay, it is a 8-bit controller, 128 KB program memory, 512 KB additional data flash memory, larger memory than MSB 430. Okay, but it is slower in processing. MSB 430, if you see, it is 16-bit RISC core, 8 megahertz. Okay, clock, 48 KB flash, 10 KB RAM. Okay, many DACs are there. Then RT clock is also available. 8051. Okay, if you see, it is 8-bit MCU. Okay, 32, 64, or 128 KB program memory is there. 8 KB RAM also we have. Now coming to second one, communication module. Okay, so communication module, okay, of a sensor node is also called as radio transceiver. Okay, transmitter as well as receiver. Radio is radio frequency, the frequency in which you work. Essentially, task of transceiver is to transmit and receive data between a pair of nodes, or it is a single node to the main controller. Okay, characteristics of the transceiver should be considered for sensor nodes. Okay, its capability has to be considered, energy characteristics have to be considered, and radio performance is this communication module, okay, works when which band, okay, which frequency it is operating at. That is very important, because based on that you're going to do your modulation, encoding, so and so. Okay, so radio performance of the communication module is important. Okay. Now coming to transceiver characteristics, uh, interface to upper layer. Okay, most notably to MAC layer. Then supported frequency range also, that's what I said. Okay, we need to know. Okay, so it is somewhere in between 433 megahertz to 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, and ISM band. whether it supports multiple channel, that is also need to be look into. Okay, multiple channel, like sometimes a continuous, you may be requiring two separate channel bands. Okay, one for transmitting, one for receiving. Okay, then one small band for controlling. Okay, the main control usually will be there, because controlling is nothing but synchronizing. Okay, will be there in the main, like master block. So from there actually control signals have to come, then only this can transmit, that is synchronizing. So for that, we need to have a channel. So whether it is supporting the multiple channel, that is also need to look into. Okay, see, whatever we say characteristics, these are the basic characteristics we are studying. Now depending on your application, the what you call, the features may vary. See, actually I have kept the sensor at the remote place, where I have to take collect the data and send it. Okay, I don't only maybe small processing is there. Okay, other than that I don't have to do anything, nor I should receive the signal data from any other node. Then I don't think so I have to look for a good quality multi channel requirement. Okay, so depends on what type you do and which node it is. What is the role of the node in your network? That is also important. What is the role of the node, that particular node in your network? So depending on that, okay, we can decide. Then what is the transmission data rate? Okay, that has to be decided in the beginning. Then communication, what are the communication range? How long we can transmit? How far? Okay, next, energy characteristics, power consumption. Okay, what is the power consumption, how much it should be? Okay, so that we need to see. But whatever it is, power consumption, we need to bear. Okay, the node has to bear the power consumption. Time and energy consumption to change between different states. Okay, so what is that changing between different states, we will see later. So we need to calculate the time taken for it to change from one state to another state. Okay, for example, now only one channel I have. So once if I transmit, the next time I can receive simultaneously, I cannot do so. In such case, okay, now the time taken between the time taken to shift the states is okay, how far, how long, what duration it takes to change from transmit mode to receive mode. That is important. Okay, after transmit mode, if it takes 1 second to receive, then actually I don't say I will be losing the data, but I consider it as not efficient. I will not be losing the data. Okay, make that point clear. If the transit time is more, then I will not lose the data, but performance becomes lesser. Okay, then what are the supported transmission power control, that we need to power efficiency? Okay, how much power is consumed, okay, or it is radiated in case of if you go for an wireless antennas. Okay, now if you see for radio performance, okay, because initially we talked about, we need to look into the radio performance of the communication module. So what is it? Then it will come as where, what type of modulation are we using? ASK, FSK, PSK, or QPSK? See, now it is written accordingly. However you use, the complexity of the node goes on increasing. Okay, if your this thing is data obtained is it's in binary. Okay, data obtained is in binary, then actually we say that we prefer to go for ASK, on off keying. Okay, just if it is there one, if it is not there zero, it is very simple. You know this. Okay, you have done this in your lab. Very simple circuit. So I don't have complexity. If the complexity is not there, my compactness of the node increases. Okay, if the my circuit becomes complex, the compactness, the circuit becomes less. Okay, so that is and power consumption. Okay, if it is a less complex circuit, power consumption is less. So only we need to bother, okay, which type of modulation we look for. Then, okay, the noise figure we need to see. Okay, noise figure is output SNR by input SNR, like a signal to noise ratio, because we are collecting the data from the environment, okay, open environment. So in that case, the noise is added to it. In that, how good your signal is distinguishable from the noise is SNR. So naturally, we have incoming SNR also. We can find out outgoing SNR also. So ratio of that gives you noise figure. Then comes gain, the ratio of the output signal power to the input signal power. There is a difference between noise figure and gain. This is just the power of the output to input signal, whereas SNR is ratio of signal to noise ratio. It is signal by noise of output divided by signal by noise of the input. Okay, this is noise figure. Whereas gain is, as you all know, it is output signal by input signal. Next, carrier sensing and received signal strength indicator characteristics that we need to look into. Received signal strength indicator, because we have to keep the threshold for each node. Okay, threshold for the received signal. So received signal from where? From the sensors. Because from the main controller, if you're talking about, then actually it is under our control to set the power very high. Okay, we can do that. Whereas when we are collecting the data from the environment, okay, the signal strength is not in our control. So how good, like, I'll tell you, it should be like what level of signal, if it comes from the sensor, I must take it, I must consider it, and below which if it comes, I must ignore it. Because each and everything which is coming at the sensor, I cannot take, I cannot process, because I cannot distinguish what is noise and what is the actual data. Okay, so we keep for each sensor, okay, we have a threshold power. Okay, the data whatever comes later, we measure that in terms of dB, okay, power. So below which threshold we are going to ignore, like what you call, discard it. Above which if it comes, we have to take that. So that is RSSI, received signal strength indicator, that we should see. For now, for each and every sensor, it is not constant. Okay, it depends. Some cases very feeble. Okay, if you are going for your medical sensing and all, very feeble signal I should be able to get and I should be able to analyze. Okay, sensor sensitivity should be very high, RSSI should be very low that time. Okay, whereas if you're going for temperature and so on, that is not that feeble. Data what you get is not feeble, so I can have the RSSI quite high. Next, frequency stability, okay, towards temperature and pressure changes. Like what it means is, I have set one frequency for transmission, for communication. So whether the frequency is affected by the temperature or affected by the pressure, because I am working in an open environment, so I may face these changes. So when this changes occurs, if at all it occurs, whether my frequency is going to change. If that is the case, then actually I need to correct it. I cannot take that frequency range. Again, voltage range similarly. Okay, uh, in case any supply difference voltage, okay, supply voltage difference occurs, because we are working in a very limited resource, voltage or power resource. In that case, if any fluctuation happens, whether the performance is going to change, that we need to see, and we want it reliably to operate for a wide range of changes. Then carrier frequency and multiple channels, transceivers are available for different carrier frequencies. Okay, so that is the frequency band what we select, carrier frequency. Okay, Transceivers typically has several different states or modes. This actually I was telling you: transmit mode and receive mode. One more is idle mode. Okay, when can I take that idle mode? When can I think of idle mode of the communication module? When, okay, data is sent and next data is taken after 6 hours, for example. So till that time my communication module can go to sleep, because and the next data I have to send it after 6 hours. The application is such, after 24 hours, such applications are there. So now, once just now I have sent one data at around 6 o'clock. Why I should keep till next morning 6 o'clock the module on? Need not be. So that comes as the idle mode. Okay. Some functions in hardware can be switched off, reducing energy consumptions a little. This you know. Okay, you do this for your mobiles, your laptops. Okay, you go for that mode. Significant parts of the transceiver are switched off, not able to immediately receive something. Okay, if you are in sleep mode, recovery time and startup energy in sleep state can be significant. That's what I said. We need to see, okay, recovery time and startup energy. Now, every time I need not go for optimizing it, because it depends on the application. Now I'm working for like sending the data once in 6 hours. Okay, then it need not be, the transit mode need not be that high, because next part comes after 6 hours. So till that it can go to the sleep mode. After the sleep mode it can it can come to the receive mode. Okay, receive the data quite well in advance, then go to the transmit mode, transmit it to the next higher level. So in that way it is. Okay. State change, time and energy. A transceiver can operate in different modes. Okay, sending or receiving, use different channels. Okay, or be in different power save states. In any case, the time and the energy required to change between two such states are important figure of merits. This is what we discussed. Okay, data rates, how fast it can transmit. Carrier frequency and used data, used bandwidth together with modulation and coding determine the gross data rate. Typical values are few tens of kilobytes per second. Okay, considerably less than in broadband wireless communication, but usually sufficient for wireless sensor network. The next is blocking performance. The blocking performance of a receiver is its uh, received bit error rate in the presence of interferer, because that interferer is present since we are dealing with remote sensing. More precisely, at what power level can an interferer, okay, at a fixed distance, send at a given offset from the carrier frequency, such that target BER can still be met? That actually we need to we need to consider it for blocking performance. An interferer at higher frequency offsets can be tolerated at large power levels. Okay, see, sometimes what this means is sometimes we cannot avoid interferer. Okay, because it is environmental created, so we cannot completely uh, completely minimize it, okay, nullify it, nor completely accept it. But what is the offset level we can take? Though interferer is there, okay, interference is happening, still I can manage to get the signal from that corrupted uh, signal. Okay, I can get my, I can extract my data from that corrupted signal. So if that I need to count. If I choose a higher frequency, okay, you all know that high frequency is less um, susceptible to noise. So if I select a high frequency as well as high energy, okay, high power, high energy level, then for the data, then actually we can transmit or we can okay, yeah, it is from the node. When I say it is only transmitter, not receiving, I can transmit at a better uh, condition. Okay. Blocking performance can be improved by interposing a filter between antenna and transceiver. Okay. Since it is wireless, we do have antenna in the communication module. Carrier sense and RSSI. In many medium access control protocols, sensing whether the wireless channel, the carrier is busy, okay, and is a critical information we are having. The signal strength at which an incoming data packet has been received can provide useful information. A rough estimate about the distance from the transmitter, assuming the transmission power. Okay, a receiver has to provide this information in the received signal strength indicator. Okay, received signal strength indicator, I explained you, that is the minimum strength we need to have. Now, uh, the signal strength, okay, of the incoming data gives you so many other information also, other than data. Data may be like just measuring the uh, rainfall. Okay, yesterday's rainfall, that is the data. But the when you receive that data, you also can measure, okay, this node is at what distance from the controller. Okay, what is the energy utilized by that node sitting at the control station. You can calculate that also. Okay, at what distance your wireless node is situated. At the same time, okay, at what level that antenna is transmitting, at what level of power that antenna is transmitting. Okay, if the received signal is at good condition, then I consider that antenna is high power. Okay, it is sending the signals at the very high power, so I am getting a good signal. If the antenna is sending it a lower power, then the signal when it reaches to the controller, okay, it will be feeble, will be already corrupted by the noise. Then I'll come to know that the antenna, sending antenna from the remote node is sending at the lower energy. Noise figure which I have discussed. Okay, it is, see here, say SNR of the input to the SNR of the output. Okay, in dB, if you are calculating SNRI minus SNRO. Now examples of transceivers are, okay, one is RFM TR1000 family. These are the features, you can go through it. Okay, next one is chipcon CC1000. So these are the this thing. Okay, chipcon CC2400. Okay, then next is Infineon TDA 525X family. Now these are the, okay, here actually the range. Okay, then what type of modulation, then data bit rate, all these things, if you know, that is sufficient. Now this is actually the diagram, okay, of the communication module. See here, this is antenna interface. Okay, now if it is in the receiving mode, it goes here. Okay, so I use low noise amplifier because I know and I expect the received signal is feeble. Okay, so it has to be what you call decoded in suitably. So we go for low noise amplifier. If the communication module is used in the transmitting mode, then power amplifier. Okay, high power has to be given. This is a signal. Okay, from here you know many frequency, IF range, so many things are there. So from here, when it comes here, the signal has to be boosted to a very high level. Then it has to be given to the antenna, interface to the antenna. This is in the transmitting mode. This is in the receiving mode. So next we will study in the next class. I will end the session here only.